as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court file number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Guilty on all 3 charges. How do we look at that? How do we feel about that? Personally, my take on it is, okay, he was found guilty on all 3 charges. They remanded him immediately back into custody. And at that juncture, you would think that I felt good about it. You would think that all of us felt good about it. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When it comes to these things, as we've seen time and time again before, okay, yes, he got convicted on all 3 charges. There's still a matter of sentencing, which is still 2 months out. So, giving the 3 charges that he was found guilty for, the main charge, the first charge, he can get up to 40 years. The second charge, he can get up to 20 years. The third charge, he can get up to 15 years. Now, I want y'all to keep that 15 years in mind. And I say that because I don't trust this system. I don't trust any of it. And I'm going to tell you why I don't trust any of it. Because why is it all of a sudden now, 1 out of everybody that we've lost due to police violence has gotten theirs, has gotten sentenced, or has been found guilty? Eric Garner's people, no, they walked. I believe it's Jacob Blake up in Kenosha. His cop that paralyzed him for the rest of his life is currently back on the street with no issues, no problems whatsoever. So that's why I said, I understand that everyone is happy that Derek Chauvin, his trial is over with and he was found guilty. That's all well and good. But there's still a matter of sentencing. There's still a matter of one cop getting convicted does not wipe away everyone else we've lost. There's a young man sitting in Kenosha, Wisconsin right now, paralyzed from the waist down. He'll never walk again. I really need y'all to really look at that. Look at that aspect. It ain't over. We ain't nowhere near over. Hell, I just read a story that up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they beat a guy, punched him in the face repeatedly because they thought he was resisting. I haven't seen body cam footage, and quite frankly, I don't want to see body cam footage because I'm tired of seeing it. Then it was a matter of somebody in North Carolina who they claim had a weapon. No weapon was found at the scene, according to the article that I had came across. This man had 7 kids and ran into what they call the police department. So, is there something going to come about with that? Good question, ain't it? Now, there is so much to talk about right now. So if I fumble over words, please forgive me. I want to continue to touch on this George Floyd, Derek Chauvin situation. Forgive me if I have my times crossed, because again, I'm way overwhelmed with the information right now. It was brought to my understanding that even after when the EMTs got to the scene, when George Floyd was laying there, it was an additional 2.5 minutes after the EMTs pronounced him already dead that Chauvin kept his knee in the back of his neck. I guess he wanted to make sure that this criminal didn't get away. A criminal who his final words, his final moments, he was calling for his deceased mother. And I'm sorry, any grown man in that position, be it by the police or anybody else, the last person he calls for is his mother. He's in trouble. As a matter of fact, his mother was dead, and he was calling for her. He was calling for her. And I guess that doesn't register with anybody, because I have read several posts via social media, via news boards and everything in regards to this case, to where the people want to sit up and go, oh, he was a criminal, and oh, you know, I don't feel bad for the, you know, I feel more bad for the cop that got nailed. So let me ask all of you people who feel like that cop was in the right. Let me ask y'all a question. You get a phone call, or you just so happen to surf the internet, and you see a video of your son, daughter, niece, nephew, loved one with a knee in the back of their neck. What would you do? Would you be saying that your loved one was a criminal, that they had a criminal past? Would that matter then if it was your people? That's a dumbass question, isn't it? Because it wouldn't matter. I don't give a damn what George Floyd did back in the day before this incident happened. I don't give a damn if he was a crackhead or whatever you want to label him. Did he have to die? No. Did Chauvin have to put a knee in the back of his neck? And in regards to that, all of Minneapolis gets torn apart? Nah. But what did he choose to do? He chose to do what he felt was right. And that little blue wall, that little Blue Lives Matter bullshit that y'all like saying all the time, that wall crumbled in court because guess what? His own people got up there and said, yeah, we ain't learned that. We don't know where he got that from. That was some personal shit between him and Derek. And come to find out, the two of them knew each other. They used to do security work together back in the day. And apparently, Derek rubbed him the wrong way, or George rubbed Derek the wrong way. See, that's what I mean by people becoming officers that really shouldn't. This is what I mean by Nazis with badges. Because, see, Derek Chauvin struck me as the kind of white boy that got bullied in school, and he decided that I'm going to get in, I'm going to bulk up and get into doing security and becoming a cop. So that way, if I catch anybody that used to fuck with me back in high school, I get to beat their ass. And I'm going to have the law on my side. Guess what? Did you see that look on his face when them guilty verdicts got read? That was some of the most comedic shit I've ever seen in my life. And why I say it was comedic, because you thought you were going to end up like everybody else, like Sandra Bland's killers, like Brionna Taylor's killers. And you was going to walk. You was going to dance your happy white ass right out that courtroom. Nah, you know where you are right now? You're in a Hennepin County cell in protective custody awaiting what's going to happen to you. And right now, you looking at 23 to 40 years in prison. You're looking at that. That's not to say you're going to get it, but you're looking at it. And I'm quite sure right now, you're in that protective custody cell. And a part of you may feel proud about what you did. And probably a few of them crooked Klan member ass guards in there is probably thinking the same thing. We're not mad at you. Good job. Yeah. Good job. Good job pissing the rest of your life away, because at some point when you do end up wherever the hell it is that you're going to go, guess what's going to happen? You're going to run into people that you put away, whose rights you violated, whose civil rights you violated. And we all know what goes down in prison, don't we? Ain't no civil rights in prison. Ain't no rights in prison. It's kill or be killed in prison. You ready for that, Derek? Are you? Hope so. Hope some of that police training that you had back in the day helps you out. Because the way it's looking right now. You won't make it past your first therapy session. Now, moving on. 15-year-old girl shot 4 times in the chest by Columbus police. The same police she called. Because you got grown ass women going over to a 15-year-old's house to fight her? As if you stupid ass motherfuckers don't have anything else better to do. This is what you choose to do. You choose to go attack a child. So tell me something. What could a 15-year-old do to, if I'm not mistaken, if my information is correct, what is it that a 15-year-old can do to piss off a 26 and 28-year-old? That's 2 of the people whose ages that I was aware of. I don't know about everybody else, but what can a 15-year-old child do to somebody that's supposed to be a fucking adult? And then there was somebody else on the scene, because I've watched bits and pieces of this video because I cannot bring myself to watch the entire video. Because why would I want to see another black child get killed at the hands of sworn in personnel whose mantra is supposed to be to protect and serve? Now, I have read people justifying what the cop did. I have even read people blaming the victim. Well, she came outside with a knife. If I got 4 motherfuckers at my door kicking in my door trying to get in my house to attack me, what the hell you think I'm gonna do? Y'all lucky she didn't have a gun. But I've had people tell me, well, the cop shot her to protect another person. I just watched a TikTok video not even 10 minutes ago where a little white boy had a knife. And when the cop went to try to subdue him, he stabbed the cop in the neck. The cop gave chase. At first he had his pistol out, but then he switched it and had his taser and tased him. Y'all starting to see a pattern here? Because the other young man in Brooklyn Park, 26-year veteran. 26-year veteran. Traffic stop. Random, routine traffic stop. And apparently, the young man gave you a little trouble. I heard he had warrants. I heard it was a new car. Y'all know what? I can give less than a fuck about the circumstances. The fact of the matter is, a 26-year veteran police officer who should know the difference between her service Glock and a taser pulls her Glock and shoots 20-year-old, I believe his name was Dante Young, center mass in the chest. Dante then crawled back in his car, drove to the corner, and died in the car. And the little bits and pieces of that video that I saw, she even sat up and said, "Oh shit, I shot him." No shit, you shot him. Just celebrating his child's first birthday. And y'all want to sit here, well, not y'all per se, but idiots want to sit here and go, it was a mistake. Really? So, you mean to tell me you've been on the force 26 years and you don't know the fucking difference between your service Glock and a taser? There's a weight difference. A taser is a little plastic gun. A Glock weighs about 2 pounds maybe? I could be wrong. Don't quote me, I could be wrong. I'm not a cop, but even I know the fucking difference between a taser and a fucking gun. Now, when I initially read the story, I thought they said she was 26 years old, which made her 6 years older than the person she killed. But no, I had to reread it. A 26-year veteran for the police department of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. And this happened all the while Mr. Chauvin was on trial for killing somebody. Killing George Floyd. I hope she was watching that court proceeding very closely. Now, that's not to say she's going to get the same fate. I mean, look at the chick in Oklahoma who shot the Reverend in the back. I believe she got jail time. Maybe, maybe not. But I do know that a family member, I believe it was either her husband or her dad, was the chief of that department. And oops, that was a mistake. He looked threatening. Wow, you know what? So does any skin darker than you come off like that? If they don't look like you, they're suspicious. So anytime that I leave my house, do I need to watch over my shoulder? Anytime any of my family members or friends of mine, every time they leave the house, do they have to look over their shoulder? Because the majority of my friends are darker than me. And it's mighty funny how I would get a slap on the wrist faster than them. And guess what? We're all the same ethnicity. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I recently, as I was leaving work, I watched my nephew leave the same office. And I work in the suburbs of Detroit, where we get looked at funny all the time out there because they feel like we don't belong. So I watched my nephew leave the office, And I watched that city's police car cruiser jump behind him because he was in his father's vehicle. His father drives a very expensive, nice car. I followed that cop on purpose because had he'd have flicked my nephew, oh, there was going to be a problem. Because what you weren't going to do is make an example and make my nephew headline news on behalf of your department. And see, and that's the thing. I am a father to the most endangered species out here. Young black men. And I'll be damned if I, in my power, would prevent any kind of harassment towards another young black man. See, when I was growing up, we were an endangered species. My generation. The 70s and 80s babies. We were an endangered species at one point. But then they left us alone. The 90s and the millennials, oh, they're gunning for them. Gunning for them. Wanting them to act up. Give them a reason to pull their gun out. Because y'all pissed. I watched an episode happen right in front of my house. Because a young man was parked the wrong way. But you know what the problem is? And this may sound real fucked up, but I'm going to tell you what the problem is. An old saying that I made up a while back. Don't give anyone any ammunition to put in their gun to shoot back at you. If you get pulled over by the police and you know you've done nothing wrong and all of your shit is legit, play it out. Make them feel stupid by not reacting the way that they are expecting everyone to react nowadays with these obviously tragic police run-ins. Innocent people getting beat up, children being shot and killed, motorists being shot and killed, and it getting swept up under the rug. We ain't heard shit else about Brionna Taylor, have we? No, we haven't. And we're probably not. Whereas everybody else is either walking. It's only been, 2 feel-good stories out of all of the police clashes with civilians? I'm sorry, but Derek Chauvin getting convicted. Okay. Talk to me when he gets sentenced correctly. Then I'll have something to pop a bottle on. Until then, given what he's looking at, they're saying he can at least get 23. Is that enough? Possibly. For me? No. But that's just for me. Other people may feel like that's enough. Other people may feel like that's not enough. Other people may want to walk around and still be angry. My feeling is you fucked up, you got to pay the price. Simple as that. But that still does not take away of the factor of look at all the ones that got away. Look at all the ones that got away with it. No one thinks about that. Only thing they focus on is what's right here, right now. See, because this is the thing. You really don't pay attention to things until it happens to you. And I would not wish what happened to George Floyd, the young lady in Columbus, Ohio, Sandra Bland, Brionna Taylor, I would wish that on nobody. Because nobody should be in fear of anybody else. Especially a force that was designed to protect the community and its civilians. These are the same people that live in these same communities. And they dropping people like flies. And that's the part people does not understand. If it's to a point to where now I can't even leave my house without being worried that I may not see my house again, things need to change. And we can say things need to change all day. Will it happen? Probably not. Because in my opinion, too many of us are dying. And you can sit there and say, you know, we're thinking about doing this, we're thinking about doing that. See, you know what? A good friend of mine always taught me, stop talking about and thinking about and just fucking do it. Talk to me when you got results. Positive results. Results that are conducive to a movement forward. As long as we have suits who don't have a clue, who have never experienced anything you or I have experienced, how can you ask for change? The only change that they're concerned with is the change they get when they go buy something. That's what a politician does. They have no experience in what their constituents go through on a daily basis. They didn't come up like some of us. They didn't have to want or strive for anything. They had it handed to them. So how can we expect change if the people who are in the position to make the change does not have a clue as to what we deal with or go through on a daily basis? How can we ask for that? We can't. We can't be seriously trying to ask for that. The only way that you're going to get change is if you put a person who is in the position to make said change, put them in there who has the experience, who has gone through struggles, who has gone through policemen bothering them, harassing them, who has gone through losing everything and hitting rock bottom and have to claw and scratch their way back to the top. Why do we keep putting these people in here that have already been handed everything all their fucking life? Why do we keep putting people in here who has had a country club membership longer than I've been alive? But that's the thing. Anyone and everyone who could have made a change, they silenced them one by one. They found a way to silence them. Or we sit up and still go by the crabs in the barrel theory. When one person wants to speak for the people, they want someone else want to turn around and go, well, he ain't speaking for me, because I feel like I could do better, I could do this. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, all of that talk you doing, that person's name is on the ballot. Where's yours? Where's your committee? Where's your campaign manager? And that's the thing. We can sit up all day and talk about how we would handle things differently if we were put in that situation. But the problem is, we wouldn't put ourselves in that situation. A politician is not going to put themselves in our situation, because they don't want to understand us. They don't want to understand the struggle. All they want is a vote. All they want you to do is go in there on election day and put them in somewhere, and then after they get there, they ain't gonna give a fuck what happens after that. Not to you or not to me. And it's the sad truth. It's the sad truth. Because in the end, I'm starting to feel like now, law enforcement, that's the new Klan. They got the uniforms. And instead of horses, they got cars. Instead of sticks with fire on it, they got Glocks and tasers. And instead of Grand Dragon, they going by officer. I'm not saying all of them are bad, because they're not. All of them are not bad, no matter what color they are. All of them are not bad. But I tell y'all what, they making it real easy for us to lump them in with the ones that are. This episode was brought to you by BJ Cass Advisors and Dire Strategies LLC. I love y'all. Take care of yourself. Stay alive.